I usually say good morning, and right now I don't know what to say except hello, how are you? First of all, I want to thank you for joining us for this service today. You know, we tried on the weekend to make this happen. We really did. We worked really, really hard, and we thought we'd done a really good job, but the technology did not cooperate. So there are many unexpected things in our lives right now, and we're just doing our best. So I want to thank the volunteers who are helping us get through this scaled down version of our water communion today. But before I get into that, I just want to know, I wish I was looking at you and not my computer screen right now, you, the beloved members and friends of this community, because I sure miss seeing you. I really do. Gosh. And what a week we've had here in Oregon and the West as wildfires have burned so much land, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, over 1 million acres, I think, by now. We think about the precious lives that have been lost and all the property that's been destroyed, people's dreams up in flames. It's been heartbreaking. It's been, I think, probably the hardest week I've seen since I've been the minister here for our community. We're really facing a lot of things. We can't even go outside and breathe right now. And we have to think about the water we drink. Will ash fall in the Detroit reservoir? There's a lot that's up in the air right now, but we want to be down on the ground, spiritually grounded for each other as we reach out to one another during this most difficult time, even before the fires with the pandemic that was socially distancing us. Our hearts really go out to all of you who have borne the brunt of these devastating fires, some including members of our own community who live to the east of here in Silverton, State, and Sublimity, Almsville, Mill City, Gates, communities like that. I hope that you are safe and well. So I have a suggestion. You know, oftentimes on Sunday mornings, I invite you to greet one another and turn to the person next to you and greet. We want everybody to always feel welcome in this community, but we can't do that right now. But that doesn't mean we can't greet one another, because I think most of you have telephones. So I would like to invite you to call somebody in our congregation. It doesn't even have to be somebody that you're particularly close to, but somebody that you know, and call and just say, how are you? Reach out to them. I know you've been waiting for an excuse to call, and now you have it. So, and you can make more than one call too, if you like. So I want you to just take a moment here right now and think about who in our congregation, or even if you want to reach out beyond our congregation and just connect with your family and friends, you can do so. But who do you want to call and say, you're welcome into my life. You're welcome into my life. And finally, welcome to our annual, and this is a scaled down water communion service. We had one on Sunday that was beautiful. Too bad you couldn't have seen it, but it was good. But we're doing a scaled down version of our water communion service today. It's one of my favorites because it reminds us of our compassionate community. Water. We are especially grateful for water now, and we look forward to it falling from the sky and cleaning the air we breathe. It's good that you're here. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to turn it over to our celebrant, Sarah Pickett.
All life comes from water. Life started in the ocean, where it began to take its many and amazing forms. Babies are cradled in water before they are born. Everything that lives needs water, from the smallest plants to the largest whale. From the beginning of history, humans have built their homes and their lives around water. Today, we celebrate water, which connects and nourishes all life. The beginning of the church year for UU congregations is called homecoming. Many congregations include the water communion ritual in this service. This ritual involves members and friends who have brought small amounts of water to the service, taken from special places they have been in the summer or during the year. The water might be collected from a rainstorm or a river, or is significant and symbolic in some manner. They pour the water into a large bowl and tell the congregation where it is from and the meaning it has for them. Other congregations bring into the sanctuary items of significance to their own history. The chalice, a banner or wall hanging, the covenant, hymnal, a religious education book, crayons, or a coffee urn. Whatever symbolizes the regathering of the community. That is what we are doing here today. So yes, I'm Sarah Pickett, your celebrant today, standing in for Janet Stevens, who's at a fire camp, supporting all the brave and compassionate souls battling the forest fires, and who are trying to save our homes, our lives, our water, and this beautiful state of Oregon. Please have them in your hearts as we say our affirmation. Love is our doctrine. Compassion is our way. Here we seek to create a joyful home for free religious exploration. Build a community of caring fellowship. Nurture the hopes and serve the needs of our world. Each of us comes to this sacred space today to dip into the well that nourishes our hungry spirits. Each of us comes with our own cup of goodness to pour into the well. The chalice is a vessel, a bowl, a cup. We drink together. With this light we place in this vessel, we also place our common hopes, our shared dreams, our mutual commitment to a world made whole. May we be strengthened in our bonds of love and peace. Each week, we light 3 chalices. The first is for this congregation, the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Salem. The second chalice we light for our Unitarian Partner Church in Shimafalva, Transylvania, Romania. And the third we light for our children and youth in religious exploration and in the world at large. Thank you.
So I was going to say take a deep breath, but maybe you want to put something on if you're in smoky air to filter the air when you do take a deep breath right now. But you know, being with the breath is one of the best ways that you can. Just focusing your mind on your breathing, not trying to control your breathing, just focusing on your breathing is one of the best ways I know to ground yourself, to spiritually ground yourself. So be with the breath right now and feel the deeper, truer rhythms of life beyond the clamor and the ceaseless chatter of the world. Learn to be quiet, quiet. Enjoy the quiet, the silence, that there might be room in your heart and soul to receive deeper insight, truer feeling, higher truth. The fires have spread. Oh, have they spread, fanned by the winds, and claimed lives and homes. And it's a stark reminder of how precious are our lives and our ecosystem. Somebody reminded me just this week of all the animals that have died along with some of the people in our state, and we grieve. We grieve for these losses, these terrible deaths. Yet this devastation has also put our compassionate natures on full display. We are reaching out to one another out of our care and concern. At our board meeting last night, we talked about donating money to the Red Cross, the United Way, to help victims from this fire. And we immediately agreed we would give money, and we did. And we'll be writing about that in the newsletter. We're all reaching out to one another with our care and our concern. At this moment, so many have had to evacuate. Many have lost their homes and their businesses, gone up in flames. And some even close to us perhaps, have lost their lives. Many are suffering right now, around us and in our world too. And it's hard for us to breathe right now, especially the homeless in our community. As I drive around town in the last few days, I've looked out and I've seen people who don't have homes. And I think, oh my gosh, how hard it is for them. Having to breathe this smoke-filled air, how it is harming so much fragile health. And at this moment, let us be aware, let us not avert our gaze to the suffering within and without, because awareness of suffering is the seed from which the tree of compassion grows. Think about that. Awareness of suffering is the seed from which the tree of compassion grows. And let your compassion grow and spread its protective branches. This week we noticed in our joys and concerns that Beth Ann Hufine writes, I'm sharing my concern, and I'm sure that others have the same concern for all who are impacted by the fires in the area. I'm relieved to have just learned that several people I know made it out okay, but have lost everything and had very traumatic experiences. I am grateful that they are alive. I'm awaiting information about one more person. I hold our UU members in my heart, writes Beth Ann, hoping that they and their loved ones are okay. And from Pat Millette, we hear that my sister just found out she has a spot on her lung. And I'm scared for her, and I will do everything I can to help her through this. So healing thoughts for both of us, please. Yes, indeed, I can envision you on my mind's eye right now, Pat, and I'm sending healing thoughts to your sister and to you. Because compassion is our way. And gratitude too. Someday soon, I hope, I'm going to be so grateful. I'm going to be so grateful if I can go outside and breathe clean air. I'm going to be so grateful when I can stand in the pulpit and look out at you on Sunday mornings instead of a camera, your smiling faces. I look forward to that day when I can give and receive real, not virtual hugs. Clean air and water, being physically close to people in community. How seldom did I realize before these were taken from us how wonderful these are. How I took it all for granted, and taking it for granted, I guess I felt entitled to it. It obscured my vision. And it makes me wonder, what is there now in my life that I'm not seeing? What gifts are being strewn my oblivious way that I'm failing to see and appreciate? And can I appreciate them now while I have them? What gifts are in your life that you might name today? Gifts that you might not have recognized, but can see are gifts now. I'm pretty sure that if you look carefully within and without, you could count your blessings and you'd be amazed at how many blessings do flow our way. I suspect the list is longer than we initially realize. Gratitude, compassion, this is the path we walk.
So please continue to share your joys and concerns on the website. You can see here how you can do that. We want to be able to reach out to everyone with your joys and concerns and to be able to read them in the service. It's one of the ways that we can stay connected during this time until we are here again in person. Water. Wondrous, affirming, tumultuous, everlasting river. Water. Windswept, ash-strewn trees. Ember-lit ruins. Water. Wandering arterials, trickling, evolving, renewal. Water.
Thank you, Sarah. Not you, Sarah, but you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself. Those are some words I believe I heard quite a few times when I was growing up in Southern Baptist culture. You should be ashamed of yourself. On the other hand, I don't think I ever recall anyone saying to me, you should really be proud of yourself. And after all, you know, pride, hubris, self-exaltation is a sin. It's actually number one. Pride is number one of the seven deadly sins. It's a sin. Pride, isn't it? Well, yeah, it is. It is. As carefully defined by the ancient theologians, sin is equality because you exalt and separate yourself from others because you're special. You're a cut above the rest of us. The end results of that kind of pride are not pretty to see, and we don't need to go there now. Unfortunately, in many minds, like mine, the exhortation to avoid pride, it got scrambled in the translation into, in my mind, into an invitation to avoid healthy self-respect, which meant that thinking any good thing about yourself is prideful, whereas self-loathing and debasement, those were pleasing in the eyes of God. Some variety of this notion that you're not good enough and you should be ashamed of and dislike yourself is quite widespread in our culture. It is. And it's a toxic notion that creates more suffering than you could imagine. In our annual flower communion in June, that is our spiritual antidote to this malady. To remind ourselves and one another that it's not a sin to feel good about yourself, that you and all your uniqueness are a blessing to the rest of us. Really, really. In this ritual, our flower communion is a good reminder of that truth. As the psychologist Carl Jung put it, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And our flower communion celebrates that becoming. But that was back in June, first Sunday in June. That's when we have our flower communion. But now we're into early September, the second Sunday of September, or it should be the second Sunday. It's Tuesday now, but never mind that. We're into early September. It's when we observe our water communion ceremony, which complements the spiritual message of the flower communion. You see, whereas our flower communion invites us to affirm our unique beauty as individuals, our water communion invites us to affirm the beauty and the value of community. And I was thinking about this summer, the water communion, and you know what, it called to mind, to me, the experience that Malcolm X had in Mecca in Saudi Arabia back in 1964. I read about it many years ago, and then it just came into my mind. Malcolm X had recently, in 1964, broken with the black separatist, supremacist Nation of Islam, and he began to study the Islamic religious tradition in more depth. And he learned, as he put it, that racism had no precedent or place in Islam. And when he, Malcolm X, went on the Hajj, the pilgrimage all Muslims are urged to make, he joined thousands, tens of thousands of pilgrims from around the world, circumambulating the Kaaba, the symbolic house of Allah. Imagine this scene if you can. You can probably find pictures of it, but you're with thousands and thousands of people, and you're all clothed in the same robe to erase all distinctions of class and caste, and everybody's circumambulating the Kaaba. Everybody together, everybody of one mind. And Malcolm X was deeply moved by this experience, and he became struck by a sense that our common humanity, it transcends our racial, our ethnic, our cultural, and national identities. He saw all races from everywhere, people from everywhere, and he looked into the eyes of white people, blonde-haired, blue-eyed white people whose hearts and minds were not deformed by racist beliefs, and he saw love shining back at him, and he felt a sense of unity with all people he had never known. Imagine, it was a transformative experience for him, and as well I could imagine it would be for anyone. So, but what's that got to do with our Unitarian Universalist water communion ceremony? Our water communion, it's a very simple ritual wherein each person in attendance pours water. And I'm going to shift the screen over here so you can see some water. Everybody pours some water, symbolizing something of themselves, into a common vessel. Common vessel is a sign that we offer ourselves in service to building to creating a healthy, compassionate, and caring community. And year after year, it's very predictable for me. Year after year, I'm sitting back there or holding a microphone while you share, you say something about yourself, and you pour the water in. And I find myself choking up each year, and I'm not grieving. It's gratitude. It helps me recognize each individual and how precious you are, and that you come and offer yourself into this community, and you pour in the common bowl, and it's a very moving ritual for me, and I love it. I love it. It's a good reminder that we're all a small part of something much greater than we can comprehend, and that our journey towards greatness is a communal endeavor. We can't get there by ourselves. We need one another more than we know. And this year, I think we're especially mindful of that. We need one another more than we know. And so we pour the water of self into the communal bowl to symbolize our heartfelt desire to live not just for ourselves alone, but for the common good. Will you join me just a moment for a prayerful reflection, a meditation? If you just want to close your eyes or ground yourself as I say these words, please do so. There come those moments in life when you realize that you're part of something greater and more wondrous than your individual self, something worthy of your devotion, your service. And in such transcendent moments, the prayer of the Buddhist sage Shantideva comes to my mind. And Shantideva, writing over 1,000 years ago, spoke these words that are as true today for me as they were back then. May I become at all times, both now and forever, a protector of those without protection, a guide for those who have lost their way, a ship for those with oceans to cross, a bridge for those with rivers to cross, a sanctuary for those in danger. I'm so proud that our congregation voted to become a sanctuary congregation for those who are in danger, a lamp for those without light, a place of refuge for those who lack shelter, and a servant to all in need. For as long as space endures, and as long as living beings remain, until then, may I too abide to dispel the misery of the world. So we gather once again this morning. We're on the banks of a new congregational year. Even if we can't be together, we're together in spirit. And we gather to renew our hearts, our friendship, and our community. All over the country, other Unitarian Universalist congregations have also returned home. And in many, if not most of them, there is a ceremony just like this one, a water communion.
Let us mingle our waters. Water from many actual and symbolic sources. Showing here are pictures of water that you have sent in that are important to you. We would also like you at home to be part of this mingling of water. So go get a small amount of water and place it in front of you. Look at these wonderful pictures of water from rivers, streams, lakes, wells, oceans, or faucets in our own home.
And we will now mingle our waters from many sources as a reminder of the way we merge our individual lives into the combined stream of our shared life as a congregation. And this signifies our intentions to be willing to share of ourselves, to mingle with others, to welcome all who come here. We will now read your dedications, the ones that you sent to us for this water communion. And as we do this, we take the water, please take the water that you have in front of you at home and look at it and realize how it symbolizes not only what you see and hear, but the importance of water everywhere in our lives. And first, I'm going to pour this water. It's from last year's water communion into our common bowl. It reminds us that even as we mix our waters today, we're also mixing them with those who have gone before us, who inspired us in the ways of love.
Water from Trillium Lake, a place I miss dearly. Megan Roller. The water that fills Flathead Lake, Montana, where I traveled this summer. John Schinberg. McDowell Falls, a recent hike we were able to take. I'm happy to be strong enough again to get out and enjoy our gorgeous state, and more. The Pacific Ocean represents the constant loving connection we have with the sea. I'm sure the Buddha would have said that. This summer, during the pandemic, I've given myself the gift of a regular weekly day at the beach. Just walking along the massive waters of Mama Ocean nourishes me. Lisa Lermo. Lake Ontario at Sackett's Harbor, New York, from my lifelong and dearest friend, Dottie. We have witnessed many sunsets over the water together. Annie Thorpe. The water behind my house represents how even in a city, the beauty of nature is always nearby. Hepzibah Schlottberg. The waterfalls at Silver Falls always gives me a sense of peace. When walking through Riverfront Park, I am calmed when looking at the river, and the ocean always revitalizes my soul. Starla Nelson. What a gift we have just west of Salem in the beautiful Basket Slough National Wildlife Refuge. Gil Nicholson Nelson. At this time in our lives, being on, in, or next to natural water sources gives us an immediate sense of calm. We are in awe of the power of water and all of its life-giving and life-taking properties. It's wonderful to have the opportunity to ponder and to express gratitude for water via this UU ritual. Lorraine Donaldson and Guy Holman. Peaceful Willamette River, and more. January brought some frozen water to our garden, a gift we longed for in August, and now. Gil Nicholson Nelson. The water from the soaker hose represents all the fun we had with our grandchildren, their parents, and our daughter on our homemade water slide in the backyard this summer. Vicki Cunningham. Yaquina Bay Bridge, the last thing we see when going to the sea, and the first thing we see when coming home. Annie Thorpe. Legacy Lake, the magnificent wine country that surrounds us, and more. Our dog loves splashing through the puddles, ever present in Oregon. Gil Nicholson Nelson. My beloved ocean and Yaquina Head Lighthouse. We belong to the sea from which we came. Annie Thorpe. Water from Silver Creek. Beautiful fresh water flowing from the land of the Molalla people, Silver Falls, to the land of the Kalapua people, Silverton and Putty River. Dean Cedar. River, Peace, Shalom, Salem. Alan Holland. The river of my childhood, the little Luckley Mute near Falls City, Oregon, ran through the middle of our dairy farm. Gloria Holland. The Pacific Ocean, Manzanita. When my father passed, he grew up at the coast. It seemed only right to take his ashes back to the ocean that he loved so much. His great-granddaughters share the love he had for the ocean. I grew up at the coast also. We would go to the shore with our worries, problems, and happy times. I find great peace there. Shannon Carey. Water is a big part of our grandkids' Una, Felix, and Ackett's summer, spending afternoons at various spots on the Marys River and its tributaries most days. Nancy Murphy. The immense ability of water to cleanse and to calm. The devastation of a forest fire is soothed by looking at the water beyond. The trees will regrow. Life will begin again. Sharon Pearson. Yaquina River, where we go with the flow. Annie Thorpe. The sea, Solace, the source of solace, inspiration, and our life support system, is my sacred and happy place. I've always felt joy when in, on, or near the sea. I think that represents many of us. Thank you for your life-giving pictures and dedications. In truth, each one of us is a part of this mingling water. Let us remember that water connects all people and sustains all life on this fragile planet. We remember that all our lives begin in water. The waters touch all shores and nurtures all life. As these waters are mingled, may we be grateful for the gifts we share and for the many streams that create our common life. May the community we create here in this new year of our shared ministry gather the separate streams of our lives into a deep, flowing river of generosity and peace and justice. We support UUCS through our pledges, time, and connections with one another. We support the Salem community through donations to the Marion Polk Food Share, and for the month of September, CASA, Oregon's immigrant rights organization that works to improve the lives of Latino immigrants and their families. Please send your checks to UUCS or visit the website to donate. Thank you for maintaining the community of UUCS and for the larger community of Salem. We now take the light from our chalice, lighting the social justice candle as a symbolic reminder of the light and justice we carry out into the world. As we extinguish the chalices, let us remember the ritual of renewal that we did together through the pictures, dedications, and symbolic mingling of water, sustaining all life. So be sure and join the Zoom fellowship gatherings Sundays after the service. The first one was held yesterday. That did work. And it worked very well from what I heard for those that were able to join. So please join again this coming Sunday where we will discuss Reverend Kate Braystrip's sermon that she gives to us today. And now Rick will talk about the rest of the news of the community.
Right, yeah, just to reiterate, I sure hope you tune in next Sunday to hear Kate Braystrup. The sermon is pre-recorded. I've heard it. It's just a marvelous sermon. What an incredible writer and speaker she is, and what a good soul. So I please do join us for this coming Sunday's service. And I would also like to remind you, if you haven't heard before, we're having our Animal Blessing Sunday on the first Sunday of October, October the 4th. And what we want from you, yeah, I'm talking to you, are pictures of you and your pets, or just your pets. And don't deny it, you have pets. I know you do. You have cats, you have dogs, you have llamas, you have geese, and all sorts of stuff. So send us a picture of your pet or that fellow being with whom you live, and that are some called pets. It would really enrich our service. The more pictures of pets we get, the richer this service will be. So don't forget, send us a picture of your animals, and we'll have a slide that'll describe how you can do that somewhere, I'm sure. That's all the announcements I have. And I just want to thank, before I conclude, I really want to thank Sharon Pearson and Sarah Pickett for coming in tonight so that we would redo this service so we could get it out to you. And we hope it gets to you. Take care.
So now let us imagine joining hands with our community members, guests, and friends, saying our closing words together. May faith in the spirit of life, hope for the community of earth, and love for the sacred in one another be ours now and in all the days to come. Thank you.